Before we get started, I just want to take a roll call of all the managers from each yard to make sure they're present. Michelle, are you present from Sacramento? Can someone go get Tammy? Okay. Michelle, are you present? Okay, Jorge, are you present?
Miss April, Ramin is here.
Ramin's here.
Awesome.
Jorge? Just Jorge.
All right, and Tammy is coming up.
You want to introduce everybody?
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to go to the first slide and just give the rules for the virtual call. Next slide. All right, so the rules for the virtual call are: put all phones on mute if you are connecting virtually. All participants that are on campus, I'm asking that you put your phones on vibrate. Also, those that are tuning in from the campuses, please do not leave unless it's absolutely necessary. To ask a question, for those that are connecting virtually, enter your question into the chat area, which is to the far right of the screen. And if you want to ask a question, I'd say that you wait until the presentation is done and unmute your phone and then begin to talk before you ask your question. So those are the rules for the virtual call. Just want to minimize any feedback that we're getting.
It's online. You guys like that music out there? I like it.
All right, can you mute your phone? All phones should be muted virtually. And know that all participants, if you ever want to come to any of our yards, you are very welcome to join here in person every Wednesday at 12 noon. And we do have drivers in Vallejo that are here, so I want to thank them for making the time to get this information. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide. And since we have new individuals that join each week, a lot of this is just rehashing of what we conveyed in weeks prior. So a lot of this stuff will be repeated, but it's just in an effort to keep everyone informed. COVID-19 has impacted both our public and private school systems. In an unprecedented moment, our business school transportation has come to a screeching halt, and that happened on Friday, March 13th, 2020. Just for areas of reference, we are experiencing as a company 75,000 per day in lost revenue since Friday, March 13th, 2020. Personnel was furloughed on March 16th, 2020 due to school closures. After Governor Newsom announced continuous stay-at-home shelters, we had to temporarily lay off drivers on March 30th, 2020 due to continued school closures. Since then, we have created an online portal located at www.bustransportation.com/COVID, COVID-19. And this area is geared for all personnel to access. There's additional support and information that will be useful as we navigate this time. On Friday, April 3rd, we applied for the Payroll Protection Plan for MTS and MTS Training Academy. The Payroll Protection Plan is a loan designed to provide a direct incentive for businesses to keep their workers on payroll. The SBA will forgive the loan if all employees are kept on payroll for 8 weeks. The money is used for payroll, rent, mortgage interest, and utilities. So that's the use of the loan when we are funded the loan. Things we're working on. A letter along with Senate Bill 117 was sent to all of our home to school partners and driving staffing customers expressing their obligation to pay for services through the end of the school year. We don't know to what degree they will assist, but we have received favorable verbal responses from Marin Transit, which handles the transportation for Ross Valley and Mill Valley school districts. We've received favorable communication from Castilleja, which is a private school in the Watsonville area. We've also received favorable response from Gateway Community Charter School, and that's where we provide transportation out of our Sacramento yard. We also have received favorable response from Making Waves Academy. Making Waves has said that they want us to bill them for services through the end of May, actually through the end of April. And California School for the Deaf, they are in the information is now with their legal team, and we hope to hear a favorable response. Initially, all of these letters were sent to transportation directors. So now we will send the letter to the district superintendents in an effort to get resolved. We are continuing to collect our outstanding ARs. It was over $2 million when we started. Now it's currently at $900,000. We have $1 million in the bank, and it takes about $500,000 per month to cover all of our fixed expenses. Creditors are also working with us to defer some of our fixed expenses. So the content of this call today is really to have a think tank. We want to get involvement from you as to, once we are funded this money, again, this money is for companies to keep their companies whole, their personnel whole during this time. So we need to have an open discussion on ideas that we can employ everyone. Being that schools are closed, we're going to have to be creative in what we come up with. Some of the ideas that we have discussed here this week was perhaps providing Wi-Fi hotspots in neighborhoods using the buses so the children can do homework. Another idea was using the buses to assist schools with delivering breakfast and lunch to the school children. Also, Food Bank has also expressed a need for assistance with deliveries, so that could be an opportunity for us to plug into. Always, there's the need to clean your assigned bus, and then as well as assist in installing new bus tracking devices. We went to a new service, so we're just trying to think of ideas, and we can hold here. Think of ideas on ways that we can employ everyone. So if individuals want to put in the chat some ideas, or if you want to unmute your phone, that we can have kind of an open discussion about ways we can keep everyone employed.
Is that it? Let them think about it and tell them to write it in. Can you go to the chat? You tell them to go to the chat and put it in. April.
Any ideas if you want to write them in the chat, or unmute your phone and just talk?
Thank you.
Any ideas?
Keep going.
Can you all hear me clearly?
You'd have to unmute the phone.
April, this is Pastor Summers. Can you hear me okay?
Miss April, this is Ramin.
I can, yes.
Okay. Listen, so I just wanted to let the drivers know that we are working on, still talking with Safeway, and I know Corby, and we put some calls in to Amazon, and we're going to keep looking, such that there may be some delivery opportunities, as potential ways of employment. So we're just seeking what we can do, again, to be innovative during this particular time. So we just wanted to give persons a heads up to let them know what we're doing at this particular time on that wise. And I'm talking back with Jason from Safeway hopefully today to see where how we can, where we're at with them. So, okay.
Anyone else?
Yeah, what we're, can they hear me from here? Yeah, what we're trying to do is reinvent ourselves. We have an infrastructure of about 200 buses and just as many drivers. And there are companies out there that are struggling with commercial drivers. They were struggling with it before this happened, and now the struggle is even greater. And we're trying to see, in fact, we could use our buses to be able to transport some of this pharmaceutical equipment that's being shipped here and there, and where these companies are being hard pressed like Amazon, to see if we can contract with them, and they utilize our buses to transport some of their product. So we're calling around right now, preparing a letter, sending it out, and seeing what kind of response that we may be getting back in the future. To change for this period of time our paradigm for how we see the use of school buses. And if you guys have any ideas whatsoever, just be willing to share them in the chat box, and we'll be sure to take them under consideration.
Anyone want to share any ideas?
Miss April,
Yes.
as far as Sacramento yard goes, as like Michelle mentioned before, we do need help a lot around here to do the storage rooms, other tasks, disinfecting the buses. That's going to take a good amount of time to get everything done. That would be a start at least.
And we'll add that to the list. Thank you, Ramin. Good
You're
idea.
welcome, sir.
Yeah, we have that same situation here as well.
And the other idea I'd like to we discussed on Monday was reach out to the schools, see how can we help them out, the brother schools that we had contract with. I know several of them are closed for the rest of the school year. However, we can assist with food, with delivering computers to them, Wi-Fi, etc. I'm
Yeah,
sure they
so
would use the help.
absolutely. So we did discuss that this morning, Ramin, and we're going to connect with the district superintendents and see how we can assist the schools, even, through the summer, now that school is closed, or even now until the end of the school year, and then continuing through the summer.
Yes.
I'd like to hear from some drivers. Anyone?
I have a suggestion. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Possibly doing shuttle drive, long haul shuttle drive for hospital people say from Sacramento to the Bay Area and back, or between the hospitals and their hotel, because they can't work indefinitely. They probably work a 12-hour shift, and therefore it'll be shuttling them back and forth between either their home or the hotel that they're staying at.
And this is for medical workers? Got
Medical
it.
workers, firefighters, all of the frontline people involved with the COVID-19 response.
Got it. Great idea. Thank you, Brett. I believe that was Brett, correct?
That is correct.
Great. Anyone else? Any ideas? Kelly?
Mrs. Brown? Miss April? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I
Yeah,
can.
the other thing, we can assist libraries to deliver books to the students.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other suggestions?
Yeah, if you're talking, you might want to unmute your phone.
Okay, so we'll continue with the presentation and then we'll come back to this piece.
I do have one additional idea.
Okay?
Yes, this is Fred again. The food banks are being hard hit with lack of personnel. The military needs to be transported to and from their location, home base, if you will, to the food banks, and we could probably assist food banks in their distribution to regional areas for further distribution.
Thanks, Brett.
Yeah, tell them we are.
April, if I can, just in regards to the food bank, I do have a email into Holly New, who's responsible for the Contra Costa Solano County Food Bank. Waiting to hear back from her. We do have the temp driver staffing, but I have not heard from her as far as doing local deliveries and what was just suggested. But we are just let everybody know that we are absolutely in contact with them and working to get a response. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pastor. So this is a question. How do you feel the emergency response team is handling the crisis? I want to get your feedback. What can we do to support you better? But how do you feel our response and support has been to date? Drivers, you want to respond to that question?
They have to unmute the phone to talk.
You can unmute your phone to talk, or you can put your response in the chat area. How do you feel your emergency response team is handling the crisis?
April, for persons who may not know, they have to hit *6 to unmute themselves by phone if they're only on the phone.
So hit *6 to unmute your phone. All right. Brandon, communication was excellent from day one. We appreciate the update. Thank you. And all those who have not accessed the portal that's online, there's a lot of information that is updated daily that is relevant to where we are now. There's unemployment information, there's information on if you have a car note, the different car companies that are responding to providing aid and assistance with deferred payment. If you're from the Sacramento region, there's an application there to request that your rent be deferred. So there's a lot of critical information, but it's only as good as you use it. So that information is definitely there. It's on bustransportation.com/COVID, COVID-19. Any other feedback about if you were going to give us a grade, how would you grade us in response to the pandemic? Okay, let's go to the chat and see if there's anything else there. Also, what topics of information would you like to receive on this weekly call? So there are some other questions. Mr. Walker says, it seems like all the food items have been hearty and sealing. I'm not real sure what that means. Stephen, extremely informative and supportive. Excellent communication. Thank you all, and God bless. Kimberly, it's been very good. I feel we have been kept very well informed. Another A+. Anthony Mitchell only gave us an A. Adriana, she says Tina is with her. She said A+ for the emergency response team. Ralph Walker, proactive responses. Any other feedback? Because we want to be a real support to the drivers. As we stated from day one, we're in this thing together. So we don't want to lag in any information, but we always want to be, again, ahead of the curve.
April, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Jessica, and I have to give you an A+ too. You guys have done all that you possibly can, as well as you possibly can, to keep us informed. So I give you an A+ myself.
Thank you. Joseph says, I have not been more proud to have had the opportunity to work for such a prestigious company such as MTS. I'm very impressed with all that has been done and are doing for all of us. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, how is everyone feeling?
Yeah, the anxiety.
We know anxiety is real. Being without work is something that we haven't experienced. So we want to know, how are you guys doing emotionally, physically, mentally?
Hang in there as best we can. I have one more suggestion for an account, and that is somebody mentioned the veterans earlier needing rides to food banks. They also need rides to the VA clinic. Usually use some white buses. I'm not sure what the company is.
Okay. Gwendolyn says A+. Les Ortiz, what kind of time frame are we looking at? Possibly that.
Ms. April?
So the time frame is really unknown, Les? Yes. Let me finish this one question. Les's question was...
no, I have a comment.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, as far as the veteran buses, the white buses she was referring to, I know people
Ramin, use the chat box. You're coming in and out. You have a very bad connection. Use the chat box.
by DOD, Department of Defense contractor. Yes, ma'am.
Ramin, use the chat box. You have a very weak connection.
Yes, ma'am.
Les Ortiz, your question was the time frame of when you think we would that date is unknown. We applied for the payroll protection program this past Friday, and our banker told us in the next 2 to 3 weeks They're still trying to get guidance from the federal government as how the money is going to be, the guidelines and how they're going to distribute it. But Bank of America, who is our payroll banker, they had the payroll protection program already built into their system. So there's not a lot of wait time for us. They already know which account that the money will be, get deposited in. So it's just a matter of waiting. We're hoping sooner than later. So what happens when we are approved for the payroll protection plan, when that loan money that will be converted to a grant is released, this is what will happen. We'll begin to call all the drivers that were laid off back. And that's why we were talking about ideas on ways that we can employ everyone, because we won't be running buses as we normally would. We won't be working with, you won't be, doing a home to school route or doing field trips, but we need to be thinking outside of the box of ways that we can retool our buses. So I hope that was clear. Deb says the online meeting is very helpful. Has there been any change with our healthcare situation? So as of date, we don't have any update with the healthcare situation. But let's just say we are funded this month, April. I've asked HR to ask our Kaiser about the waiting period. I don't want any of you all have to have a waiting period. All that were on the medical plan, when we come back to work, should automatically just be reinstated without question, without call. So that's what we're working on to get confirmation of that. But if we come back in the month of April, there will be no break in service, if that makes sense. However, if it doesn't happen until May, as we stated last week, be working on getting, temporary medical coverage, and that's through the various entities that we discussed last week, and they're posted to our website. You can go through Covered California, as well as now that you're not working, you may be eligible for free Medi-Cal. But you would access that information through Covered California, and those links are in the portal.
I know, April, when we spoke the last time about potentially having the drivers clean buses, also making lists of repairs for their buses that haven't happened yet, and then maybe moving forward with mechanics that way as well.
So Tammy added, making those that have assigned buses, making a list of repairs that need to be completed on your assigned buses, so we can create a workflow for the mechanics. Okay, more comments. Very difficult, but I'm still holding.
Hello, April, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you were talking about the health care, but I know you had said a few weeks ago that the drivers had to pay their portion of the insurance, health insurance. Is that still standing where drivers have to pay a portion of our health insurance? That's what I'm not sure of.
Yes, for the month of April. All the drivers have coverage through the month of April, for all of April. So coverage will end May 1st.
Okay, so
but you do have to, you're still responsible for your portion.
So the deadline of April the 20th, you still got to have your payment in by April the 20th?
Correct.
Okay.
Someone's saying this has been very difficult, but they're holding on.
April, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
This is Gabby. I just want to say thank you for all of you that are in the office working, and all the information that you have given us is really good for us. I really appreciate you, and hopefully we'll go through all these and stay together, and God bless you guys.
Thank you, Gabby. Appreciate that.
And tell the girl.
Yes. Hi, April, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Ramona. I want to go back to the medical question here. You said the medical is paid up until the end of April?
Great.
Right, correct. And that's for drivers, Miss Ramona.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say I paid for mine for April. If it was paid already, then I paid for it again, so.
You're fine.
Okay. All right.
The individual that said you're having a difficult time, if you want to call me offline, my direct number is 707-674-6013. And that's for anyone, if you want to reach out to me, please do so, 707-674-6013. Jawad says, where's Jawad? I don't see his, but he said he had a paragraph somewhere. I think he went up. How many of you have received your unemployment?
I have.
Ramona hasn't.
Ramona, you haven't?
No.
Okay.
I have not received mine either, Jessica.
April, this is Hilda.
Hi, Hilda.
Hi. I received my paperwork from the unemployment, but they told me I was going to get 0.
Why?
I don't know. They didn't say anything. I didn't qualify for the.
She must have already exhausted her employment for the year.
It's
April.
I have received mine, but it's possible that she calculated her quarterly hours wrong. Payment. She's probably calling between 8 and 12 and have them help her figure out how she entered her hours.
Yeah. So I mean, all the drivers, you are eligible. You're not working. So I would definitely call a counselor. You know, if it's a matter of maybe a data entry, maybe you entered your quarterly hours wrong, but no one should not be eligible. Everyone, yes.
Can you hear me? It's Phyllis.
Hi, Phil.
Hi. Tell her that she can appeal that. That's
Okay.
what she's probably going to have to do. She's going to have to appeal it and then have them recheck her hours.
Okay.
And Bud's received his unemployment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Hilda, you want to appeal that response.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you.
Right. You're gonna have. I mean, all we have is time on our hands. I mean, you gotta just.
You can send it by mail or maybe fax. Fax would be another.
Hello, April.
Yes.
Hi, I haven't. This is Dominic from Sacramento. I haven't received my ADD either.
Okay. The only suggestion that I have is to log into the portal and see where it is in the pipeline.
Okay.
Because drivers. Yes.
I did not receive any feedback from the unemployment office until like a day before I had it certified, and it was after 2 weeks.
This is Phyllis again. But when Bud got his money, and it took another 2 weeks for him to get his actual card, so he could actually spend the money.
Okay. Wow. So all those that aren't familiar with this process, because I mean, I wasn't familiar with the EDD process before now, but you have to certify your weeks every week.
Yes.
You have to activate that. So I know because I did mine online per se. So every Sunday, and they give you a deadline. They give you at least 2 weeks to respond. If you don't respond, then it's not a loss, but you'll just have to start that process all over again. But you must certify your weeks every week.
Miss April.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Can you hear me, April?
Yes.
Okay,
Ms.
yeah.
April, can you
This is
hear
the
me?
first time I'm
This is,
hearing that we have,
sorry, go ahead.
other than initially applying the day we were told to, which was Monday the 16th, I have not heard back from them, and this is the first time I'm hearing that we had to recertify every week, so that's kind of
Yeah,
surprising.
and the certification every week, they're just wanting to make sure that you're in the same place, same position you were the week prior. That's how they know
Right.
to keep funding you until things change. So I would suggest
Okay.
if you did it online, to get it back into your
No.
portal, you did
I
it,
didn't
how
do
did
it
you do
online.
it?
I went to the office and spoke to Beatrice at the front desk. She had me receive a phone call. Myself and Cecilia were both there at the same time. Yeah, we received a phone call. A gentleman took our information down, and that's the last I've heard of it. And I had no idea that we were supposed to confirm each week that we were still in the same position. I thought that once you apply, you apply. So is it better to go to, like, is there an EDD website that we can check, or, you know, what's the base?
If you go to the portal, the EDD websites are there.
Okay, all right, thank you. Right.
Okay, I have a question. Miss April, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. This is Uday. So I did receive some paperwork, as a lot of people did. It's for the certifying for every 2 weeks in order for me to get the payments. But in the certifying paperwork, there's a condition that I have to look for work every week, and I don't know how to respond to that.
Just respond yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
just respond yes. You don't have to look for work. You can skip that. You don't even have to fill that out.
Okay. Okay, I can skip that? Okay.
Yes, yeah, you can. Skip both of them.
Okay.
Thanks, Deb.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, so can I get Deb, you want to explain the process to the driver so they know how to move forward?
Okay, so if you did not go online and file, then you should get stuff in the mail, just like the gentleman said before me. If you haven't got anything in the mail, then you need to go online and set up an account so you can track your money and where they're going to send you the, the notices to check the boxes off, and then you get your check, the paperwork. But you need to go online and do it, because if you haven't got anything in the mail, and you probably won't, because unemployment has just been, overloaded with all these people, you need to go online and get an account set up online and go from there. And as I was saying too, it's going to say, did you look for work? And it'll say on the next page, it will say, do you look for work? And you just say, yes, you did. And it will say, well, fill it. You do not have to fill that out. Okay. So just skip that part about, filling out the places that you look for work, because you don't have to. At some point on there, on the form, it's going to say skip or next or something. And then you just mark that. So, and that, it went through last summer when I was doing it, because, plus now they have so many people, they're not going to check that. And because of the virus too. So, yeah. So anyway, so that's what I know, but I would highly suggest if you guys filed it like the 15th or whatever, and you haven't gotten anything, then you need to get in touch with them. And like I say, online, because by the phone is not going to help you, or going to the office.
Yeah. Thank you, Deb, for that information.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
I'm on my computer trying to get to that portal. Can't get there. How do I get there? Bustransportation.com.
/COVID-19.
Right. Yeah. Not coming up. Okay.
All right. So let's go back to the comment. Go back up. Okay. Look at the top. All right.
Okay.
Okay. No. Okay, those in Watsonville also said if you're having a difficult time, you can call the Watsonville location, 707-246-5621. Watsonville, 707-246-5621. My number again is 707-656-6314. And Sacramento. Jawad said he did receive his. Anthony Mitchell received his. For me, he has received his bank card as of today. Jawad says, but they buy me less than amount I am supposed to receive. Buy me less than amount I am supposed to receive. So Jawad, they gave you less than what you were expecting?
Yes. Okay, yeah.
All right. I would appeal that. Did you do yours online? Go. Okay, go back up.
Can you hear me?
Okay. All right. Good. They said he got the paperwork for certification. They want me to certify for 2 weeks, and then they want me to look for work every week. They tell me why I did not apply for work in case I didn't. So as Deb already said, just answer yes that you are looking for work, but you don't have to do it.
April, it's Phyllis. Can you hear me? She can't hear me.
April, Phyllis is trying to get in. I don't know if you can hear her or not.
Can you hear me, April? I gotta get on the chat.
Yeah, maybe you can.
You guys can hear me, but she can't, huh? Okay, I'm going to give you guys one quick. You better let her calm down real quick. Yeah. Did you see it?
I'm on the phone.
Yeah. I have a shave. I ain't got no hair.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Right. I hear you.
Hey, does anybody know about the additional $600 that the governor was talking about? People were supposed to get unemployment. Do we know anything about that?
So it's not through unemployment. That's part of the stimulus. So that's going to be the person that filed taxes in 2018. That money will be directly deposited into your account.
Okay. All right. I unemployment.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, and people are getting confused. But it's gonna, if you file taxes, that's what the information that they're basing it on.
So what is the 600?
600 4 times.
Yeah.
600, right?
The 2,400, I think it is.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 2,400.
Got it.
Stimulus, 1,200 per adult, 500 per child under 16 years old, and then $600 per week is part of the EDD situation. But I don't think you get it right out again.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's part of this. Yeah, that's part of the exact amount of that. I get that $600. it may not start until May. And that's just a guesstimation.
And that applies to unemployment, not disability?
No, it applies to those that are that 2,400 over period.
I think that's fair, regardless of disability or unemployment.
Well, I don't know who just stated that, but he said that 1,200 was the new package, 600 with EDD, and that's what I understood. It was two separate things. And I thought the EDD, I guess, is disability and unemployment, but all I ever heard was 600 to add unemployment.
I thought the same thing of this morning. I brought it up with our chat group, with the CMS, and they're the ones who let me know that 600. But it's part of the stimulus package. It's not through the unemployment insurance. If you file taxes, then that's $600. 400 altogether. But it's different.
It's 600.
Yeah, 600 people. And then they have to, but then they said it could continue. What's going on at the end of that 4-week period. That's why they're another thing behind it. Yeah. Right. Everybody's right now. Their own mind.
The next question, how can we improve this virtual conference call? How can we improve the conference call? Yeah, we're technically, I think we looked at the internet at MTS. So we have 90%, so the bandwidth, I don't think they can have it all at one time. But how can we improve the weekly virtual conference call? Also, supervisors as well, you can come pick up your phone. Any day between hours 9 and noon. Taxi drivers were able to deliver your phone yesterday to your yard. So you can pick up your phone between the hours of 9 and noon any day of the week in Sacramento as well. When you come, please have your old phone with you. When you come, please have your old phone with you. So we can do a swap. As always, our next call will be next Wednesday at 12 noon. We definitely appreciate all 9 of you logging on this afternoon. Again, we're here to support you. You have my number. If you're having a difficult time, please reach out to me. You don't have to go through this alone. We're here to support you. And any way that we can better facilitate calls here, your ideas are well welcome. So please know that. Also, go to that portal every day. If there's new information, as we put new information in there will text class. So please make sure that portal, there's a lot of information there for you to use. And any drivers that are not on call, You can encourage them to join the call every week. So the big right, I think the big thing that got going right now is the payroll protection program. We have applied, we're just waiting for the funding. So, we all just want to be ready that when we send that call out, that, you know, you come back to work, we're all in a position to. And continue to think of ideas that we pursue, in retooling the use of our buses.
We gotta put something together for reorientation.
Right.
Reorientate drivers, because things are not gonna be the same. We were talking about the CSA. Parents are gonna grade, send their children back, school. So even when school is back, you have the issue that you're gonna have to deal with buses. It was, the narrative this morning was that they not gonna get on any school buses because they magnetic control the sniffles of 83 little kids every morning. And so those buses are probably, if you use, they're gonna be like half, where, you know, they're gonna be every other seat and so forth. And you can almost expect that. In other words, this industry may be demanded to get twice as much equipment out there as we have currently. And so that's one way that this industry can be impacted in a very, very interesting way. Because of this virus, it's not going away. It may lay dormant during the summer, but it's going to come back, and you don't know when or where or how. And so we have to put these precautions in place. Probably back to school every child will probably be tested for a fever, you know, and before they get into the classroom. But we want to make sure that as a company that we're on the front line, and we want to do as much goodwill as we can with our customer base. I called NAP Unified just to see where they were at with their long distance learning, and they were saying right now they don't have. Well, he said they're going to bring it up at their conference. They have a conference every Friday. They were going to bring it up to see if, in fact, they need that kind of service. They have the ability to provide that. We have two of those buses that has Wi-Fi on it, depending on what the area that needs to be covered. And so that's something that we'll be working on and setting up some kind of schedule for all the drivers to be able to come into your yard and talk about the things that are needed locally in each one of the yards. So when school starts back, that we're on top of our game and we're still together, because right now the PPP is only 8 weeks. But after that 8 period, if nothing has changed, then they would just sign us up for another 8 weeks. The transportation industry is not going away. The worst case scenario is that we would need twice as many buses because of the capacity. It'll no longer be 83. It'll be probably all that you know, that community spread would continue. So this thing will continue, and that law is going to impact our industry in a very interesting way. And so anyway, that's why we get the idea that things change. Let's see that elephant from a different perspective, and that your idea may be key to us using the infrastructure that we have to create a whole opportunity for mass transportation in MTS Academy. All of you, our federal government has never done this before in the history of this country, where they've actually went to the citizens to save our democracy as well as our free enterprise system. And the last time this happened in 2008, they bailed out Wall Street, and they didn't care how much it cost, there was trillions and trillions of dollars. But this is the first time that they've actually turned to the citizens of the country to save our economy. And so they're going to make sure that as small businesses as ours will survive this, because small businesses is the backbone of our economy. They can't do it with government and big business. All of the small businesses that make this free enterprise system work, and they're going to make sure that we are intact. And so there's a few things that come over and above, and one of them is what your governor has ordered the school districts to do. They may or may not, but that's another safeguard that's set in place for specifically our district. You know, that the school districts make up the monies in their budget and pay out their vendors services, even though they were not rendered, to keep us intact. And so we've gotten, again, the 4 or 5 responses so far, but that's up to us to push the envelope to make sure we get as much as we can to replace $75,000 that we're losing every day. That's the way that they have determined they could try to replace that, to make sure that the vendors that provide the school bus transportation is still intact after this whole thing is over.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Jawad says, go back up to Michelle. Like, going. All right, so let's, you gotta go back up. Keep going, keep going. Right there, right there, right there.
Copy all of that, make sure we can print it.
Stop. So just start here and scroll down. I got it, Dave. Got it, keep going. Keep going. Hold on. MTS also has deck in case someone needs to speak to watch out for any issues. Okay. Okay, Brandon also put an important number up there. If someone has not received their card, they can call Bank of America Prepaid Services at 844-511-1331. And it's also in the portal. And to access the unemployment, it's edd.ca.gov, and that's also in the portal.
Can you give us that Bank of America number one more time, please?
Sure, it's 844-511-1331.
Thank you.
Anthony Mitchell says you need to check your email every day, and they will send you something in the mail as well. Jawad, I think the only answer you need to respond to is, are you looking for work? And the answer is yes. But you don't have to put where you're looking. Okay? Greg muted me? Wow. That must be those drugs. Michelle, please make sure it's not speaking. Isn't $7,000 awarded? All right, so we talked about the additional $600. I don't know how unemployment verify our income. Do they look for our couple last paycheck or look for your last year's income? All the information that I've seen, I've never had to put, when I initially applied, they didn't ask for any financial information. I know when I received the paperwork in the mail, they wanted to know week 1, what were my earnings, week 2, what were my earnings. And that's how you just look at your paycheck and they want your gross earnings. But I know that website is tricky because if you answer a certain question one way, it'll take you off to another place. So it just depends. I know many people are not answering consistently the same way. All right. Anyone else have any other questions, concerns, feedback? Well, we want to thank you each.
Somebody, I think we're trying to talk. Is that, so they need to unmute or something?
No, they just feedback. So we definitely want to thank all of you for, yes?
Hi, I want to say thank you for everything you guys do for us, and I want to tell you that a verse, Jeremiah 29:11, because I know that God has plans for everyone. I know God is in control for everything, and I know there can be a good plan for everyone. So we need to pray and continue blessing one another, and I say thank you for everything you guys do for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice and thoughtful. Jeremiah 29:11, we will remember that. Thank you for saying that. So again, we'd like to thank each one of you for participating in this week's call. We look to hear you, see you next week. We'll send out the credentials as always. Those that don't have your company phones, again, they're made available. You can come to the yard anytime. And be thinking of ideas, more ideas for our next week's call, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, April.
Thank you.